So we've determined that this guitar has 2 high frets. And to level all these frets just to get rid of 2 problematic frets is just a lot of work. And frankly, it's unnecessary if that's really the only problem that you have. So to help solve that problem, MusicNomad has come up with the U-File set, which is a really great tool for exactly this purpose. It's a small machine channel with a diamond grit in the center that is used to level 1 fret down to the exact level of the frets next to it. So what's really cool about this tool is that it has arrows on the side that shows exactly where the abrasive is. So whenever you have it on the fret, you can see exactly where the abrasive is, so you can definitely localize and level that fret accurately. Also, it fits under the string, so you can level the fret under the string, which is exactly where the problem is. So you don't have to take your strings off. You can level your fret quickly, and then you can pop the tool right out from under the string, and you can right then play the note and see if it's fixed the problem. So really a neat tool with the, again, a diamond abrasive. It's long lasting and it leaves a nice smooth surface. Anytime you're using the U-File, it's like using the fret rocker. You want to make sure that it spans only 3 frets so that you're filing the fret that's in the middle. So for that purpose, it comes in 3 lengths. The longer length is going to work farther down the fretboard. The first 3 frets up to maybe the 7th or 8th fret. Then as you get farther up the fretboard, you can move down to the smaller sizes so that you can still span only 3 frets at a time to make sure that you're leveling that center fret only. So whenever you have the tool under the string, it's easy to move it with one hand, and you can go in a linear direction with the string, or you can move it from side to side. If there's some reason that you're not able to go back and forth, you can move it side to side and file the fret down that way. So really super handy. Whenever you have just 1 or 2 high frets, this is the move. So we're going to come in here with this, and I'm going to go ahead and level down my 4th fret to the level of the 3rd and 5th frets. So to level this fret, I'm going to take my U-File, I'm going to put it under my A string at the 4th fret so that the abrasive is sitting on the 4th fret. I can see that my arrows are pointed on either side, and I'm just going to level that fret down until it skates and I don't feel any abrasive. It wasn't very high on the A string, but I can see that I made a little flat spot. I'm going to go ahead now under the D. You can hear that filing that fret down. And you want to just file just until it quits cutting. And that's how you're going to know that you've gone far enough. Now I'll move it over under the G. Now the B. And lastly, the E. So now I'll check with my fret rocker, see if I make progress. It's definitely almost no rock at all across. So to verify, I'll take my fret level gauge. Let's start over here. Well, the gauge fits. So let me hit that again. check my fret. There's just a tiny bit of movement. Let me check with my fret level gauge. Does not go under. But that's the cool thing about the U file is you cannot go too far. So you definitely want to go until you want to file until you feel no resistance, until it feels like it's just skating on the other frets, and then you know that you have got your fret level with the other two. So now having leveled that fret, and this is one of the cool things about the U file, I did it with the strings on, so now I can go in and check playability right away and not even have to wait or restring the guitar or anything like that. So I'm just going to pick it up and give it a play down in that position, and hopefully we're going to be all clean and good to go. Well, now I have a little bit of a buzz on the 4th fret on the high E. So all the other strings sounded good. Everything was very clean at the 3rd fret where it was buzzing before, but now I've kind of, it seems like my moved up a little bit on the high E string. So now I need to check and see if I have now a high 5th fret. So I'm going to go ahead and cross out my 3 on the high E and put on a 4, and I'm going to go back through and do the same thing, but I'm going to be centered on the 5th fret. So let's take my fret rocker, put it across. Yeah, I've got a little bit of a high fret on that 5th fret. So it probably was the case is I have 2 high frets here. So whenever I lower down that 4th fret, now the 5th fret seems high. So I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing that I did with the U file, but on the 5th fret, and level that down. So I'll take that and put it between. I've already measured my fret height, so I know I'm good. But I am going to measure my seating on that 5th fret and make sure that it is seated properly, and it is. So now I'll take my U file, put it under the string at the 5th fret. Just as soon as I feel like I'm just skating without any abrasive, go ahead and remove that. Get my fret rocker back out. Tiniest bit of rock. I'm gonna hit it just one more time, make sure I can see if I can just take that little bit out. There we go. Okay, so now the playing test again. Let's see what we have. Still a little plinky on that 3rd fret. So what's happening here is I'm actually chasing 2 high frets down. So my 4th and 5th fret were both high. So I leveled my 4th down, but the 5th was high, so the 4th really isn't leveled all the way to the plane of the 3rd through the 6th fret. I may have to chase the 4th and 5th fret a couple of times to bring them both down to the level of the surrounding frets. So I'm going to go back in on my 4th fret, because now it reads as high again. I'm going to level it down. Touch more there. Just want to make sure you don't quit before you're done. So that's good, no rock. But now I'll check the 5th, and it has a little bit of rock. So now I'll level it back down. Okay, no rock on the 5th, tiny bit on the 4th. So again, might have just a little back and forth on these. Okay, so let's double check my 4th and 5th frets. I'm getting no rock on my 4th, no rock on my 5th. So now I will just play the high E string. Let's see if I'm... Still got our 18th fret we got to worry about, but everything's good down in the low register. So now I'll do the same thing up on our 17th fret. So now the playability in the low register is very clean. It's good. We had a 3rd fret. We had our 4th fret was high almost all the way across the fret, and then I thought it was just the high 4th fret on the E string, but once I brought that down, I was buzzing on the next note up. So I realized that the 5th fret was high. So what really was happening is that there were 2 frets right next to each other that were both high. So I had to, as I lowered one, the next one would start rocking. Then I lower it, and the one before starts rocking. So you just have to chase them down to get them to be in the same plane as all the other frets. That's a hard one to diagnose beforehand because you're only going to notice the buzzing on the first high fret. The second high fret will not buzz whenever you play that note because it's high. So you'll just level the fret that you have found that's high, and if you have another issue where you're having some buzz, you just treat that as a separate situation, and you just go through the diagnostics just like we did on the first one. You measure, level, check your seating, and then everything should work out. So now we'll come up and address our 17th fret, which is high. That's going to be this one right here. So that is definitely buzzing on that 16th fret note. So I'm going to use a smaller U file, one that only spans the 3 frets there. So I'll use the medium size file, will be good for this. So I'm going to come in, I can feel the file rocking on the fret, so I know exactly what I need to level. So I'm going to come in here and level this down. I'm trying, not to hit the adjacent frets with the diamond. If you accidentally just catch it a little bit, you can just polish that out with the fret polisher, which I'll get to in a minute, but try not to do that. If you are having trouble with that, you can go side to side, and that'll keep the diamond between the frets, and you won't have any issues with hitting the adjacent frets. You can go diagonal. It's there's a lot of flexibility with this tool. All right. So now that was skating. I couldn't feel any more abrasive, so I think that I'm done. Let me get in here and check with my rocker. Yeah, there's no rock at all on that. So now I can get in here and give it a playability test. So nice and clean. So that cleaned that up really well. So just like down below, we isolated the high fret, made sure that it was seated and was not loose, leveled it with the U file, and now we are going to crown these 3 frets using the S file.
For more videos on how to perform guitar setups or care for your frets, subscribe to our channel and visit musicnomadcare.com for all our products and how-to videos.